Yes.
I'm so glad the camera gets to me now.
Once you've gathered yourself, what is main topic number 2?
This is from Clint. On January 10th, Deadline reported that Bob Chapek's contract expires on February 28th, 2023. Mark your calendars, folks. With everything going on at Disney, from the walkout to the stock market, and now with Disney deciding to cancel the executive retreat, do you think a decision about Chapek as CEO comes soon, since his contract has less than a year remaining?
All right. Thanks a lot for writing that in, man. And yeah, look, everybody knows I'm not going to be facetious here. I'm not going to pretend things are not what they are. I am not a fan of the job that Bob Chapek has done running Disney. All right. And so I think it's important to acknowledge that right now I'm not a fan of it. I was all for it when they hired him. Like, I was like, yes, that's a good choice. He's a company man. He's been there. He's worked closely with Iger. I think this is a good, shrewd move. Yes. Yeah, well, that didn't work out so well. And as we've been sitting back and watching Bob Chapek's mistakes add up, whether it's the way he's alienating everybody at Pixar, the way he completely alienated all the creatives in the company, taking away their authority and giving the authority and creative decisions to non-creative people, whether it's the way he publicly embarrassed the company with the handling of the Scarlett Johansson situation, whether it's the way he's been costing them literally hundreds of millions of dollars with various release strategies, and then embarrassing the company even more with the recent political hubbub, which we're not going to go into here, but over and over. Then building upon that, the dissatisfaction that fans of the parks, we just talk about it from a movie point of view, but the fans of the parks, the fans of all that kind of stuff, the very fact that we've had now articles coming out highlighting the fact that, I mean, the man who made Disney what it has been the last 15 years, Big Papa Iger, maybe the most respected guy, he was idolized within that company. The two of them didn't even speak. They had such a dislike each other, they didn't even speak. On top of all that, you go and look at like the last 6 months performance of Disney stock. It's not a pretty picture. It's not great. Oh. And now, on top of all of that, an announcement that as a result of all the upheaval and the chaos and everything that's going on because of Chapek, that a scheduled Disney executive retreat has been canceled. Because the executives just feel that there's far too much going on and that they have to play damage control on. I have been an advocate that regardless of how bad things have gone, that Chapek deserves 3 full years. And with that big laundry list, I also like to always remind people of this. It's not like Bob Chapek came into this job under glorious, pristine circumstances. No. Like the opening of Thor 1, where Odin, it looked like, was getting ready to hand over the throne of Asgard. Everything's perfect. Excellent situation for Thor to come in. That was not the situation Bob Chapek came into. Bob Chapek took over the reins when the company was in the midst of the global pandemic. The parks were shut down, theaters were shut down, movies were being shelved. He came in a very difficult situation. And compounding that, he had to follow maybe the most beloved leader at Disney since Walt Disney himself. That's not easy. And I think we all, even when I'm being critical of Chapek, I think we all have to keep a very close eye on that and remember that these were very different circumstances that he took over. What I do also believe that has become apparent in 2 years, that he's not a leader. He may be a very, very smart guy, but he's not a leader. And the way that Bob Iger was a leader, he could win a room. You never heard about grumbling or disgruntled departments at Disney. You never heard that, oh, Disney Animation's really unhappy, or that Pixar's really unhappy, or that Lucasfilm's really unhappy, or Marvel's really unhappy. And you know what happened when there was a little bit of disharmony going on, say, over at Marvel? It's like, damn, man, says Kevin Feige, I just don't know if I can work with this Perlmutter guy. Iger doesn't going to let that stand. Iger and Alan Horn got together. It's like, we cannot have disharmony. We got to make this work. And so they reorganized Marvel so that Kevin Feige no longer reported to Ike Perlmutter. Instead, he reported directly to Alan Horn, just 1 degree of Kevin Bacon separation away from Bob Iger himself. That's the way Bob Iger led. He had vision, then he brought everybody on board with the vision, then he executed the vision. He was a communicator. He has emotional intelligence. He did all that kind of stuff. These are things we've seen lacking from Bob Chapek. And now the fact that Disney has to cancel an executive retreat because we just have too many fires to put out. Too many fires that guy is setting. Well, as the person who wrote in reminded us, and we have been reminded lately, that Bob Chapek's contract is up in 11 months. 11 months. If Disney doesn't want him there anymore, and we are speaking purely hypothetically, if Disney doesn't want him there anymore, they don't have to go through the drama of ousting him. They don't have to go through the drama of having debates and taking movements and initiating golden parachutes and having drama in the press. Well, they can simply wait till February and say, as Bob Chapek's contract expires, they prepare the next CEO to come in. I have been an advocate for Bob Chapek saying, let's give him 3 years. Let's give him 3 years. Yes, we can be critical of the things he's doing now, but let's see if he can turn this thing around. He came in very difficult circumstances. I'm telling you right now, though, I have come to a place of, man, I cannot wait for February 2023 to get here, because I feel like every day there's a new thing embarrassing the Disney company, this company that I love. I love this guy. I'm wearing the Avenger shirt here. I love this company. But I feel like every day, or at least every week, there's a new thing in the news about how Bob Iger is embarrassing the company.
Bob Chapek.
Sorry, Bob Chapek. Thank you. It's the Bobs. The Bobs. It's like Office Space all over again. So, some way he's hurting the company. About a new story about Disney Plus growth is getting stunted. A new story about Disney stock dropping, it's just ride it out. I hope the board of Disney at this point is already actively searching for the next CEO, get things ready, and then move out, and maybe move Bob into another area of the company that he can use his skills that he does have to help the company. I don't know. But there's still a part of me that thinks, even if this contract expires, a change in leadership can be drastic. Mm-hmm. The stock drop at Disney when Bob Iger announced he was done was severe. And that had nothing to do with Bob Chapek. That wasn't his fault at all. It's just that, stock markets do not like instability. So they might look at this and go, I don't know, let's just keep it the way it is. Rob, let me ask you. We've talked a lot about the drama that's going on here under Bob Chapek's rule. I honestly feel like in 1 month we talked more about drama caused by Chapek than we did in an entire 15 years of Bob Iger running the place. And it's not like Bob Iger never had some missteps. Of course he did. But what do you think? Are we on a ticking clock right now? Are we on a ticking clock? Do you think the new chairman of the board of Disney is saying, I've seen enough, let's just run out the clock, let's get to February 2023? Or do you think they're like, nah, upheaval is even worse and we're just going to stick it out? Look into your crystal ball. What do you see happening and why?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to reiterate, and you pointed this out, that Chapek took over at one of the most, talk about tumultuous times. I mean, it was a mess. The world was a mess. You're in a pandemic, and Disney's half of their business is about servicing the public through all of their various, whether it's parks or Disney cruises or their merchandising, their stores, whatever. Their business is so based on servicing people, movies, and their entire business model was disrupted. I mean, somebody set off a bomb in the middle of their entire, and that's where Chapek came into that place. Yeah. And
not easy. It would have been hard for anybody to take over.
Anybody. I mean, and literally, it's almost as if a nuclear bomb was going off and Bob Chapek had to walk right into the middle of it and manage how big the blast radius was. Who wants to do that? Like, it's enormously difficult what he came in to deal with. But that said, the fact that he's not a guy like, I mean, this is the time when a guy like Bob Iger has to be able to walk into a room, rally the troops. This is when leadership, John, is needed. Real leadership. George Patton leadership, where you can come up and rally the troops like at the beginning of that movie, standing in front of that giant American flag, standing in front of a giant Mickey Mouse, and tell everybody, this is what we're going to do. And I don't think we got that from him. And you know what? That's not a criticism. It's just he's not that guy. He's not Bob Chapek. He's not Bob Iger. He's Bob Chapek. But you have to. So it's unfortunate. And then, the latest hit this week about wading into politics in Florida. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But I mean, as a matter of policy, I think a company. But it's hard when you're Disney. You're so entrenched in a state. And again, providing family entertainment. What do? He was presented with a thankless choice, and it's almost like I feel like he's getting bad advice. I feel like what he needs is he needs a team behind him. He needs other people. I feel like the poor man's out in the ocean in a rowboat and nobody's there. They're just waiting. Here comes multiple ocean liners as he's being tossed about in the surf, and no one's helping him. Like,
you know what they should have done? And I know that this is hindsight. I get it. And nobody, if you're in a Bob Chapek's position, nobody really wants this if you're Bob Chapek, but they should have done a Godfather. Because when Michael took over the family, what was the first thing that happened? Vito didn't go off and retire. He became consigliere. And Michael leaned on everything Vito told him. Vito told him, they're going to come to you with an offer for peace. The one who comes to present it to you, he's the traitor, blah, blah. He was always right, and he always listened to him. What they should have done with Iger, and I get it, if you're Chapek, you don't want daddy looking over your shoulder, but if they should have said, okay, you're going to step down, Iger, but you're going to stay on for 3 years. And he should have been the consigliere advising Chapek, and Chapek should have hung on every word Iger said, and then kind of taken over. I think they should have Godfathered this thing in. I don't know.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, but the thing is, how Hollywood works. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
All I keep thinking is Bob Chapek in his room, and there's this phone with a red button on it covered in glass. Every time he needs advice, he flips the lid and calls Iger.
But let's be honest here. Chapek isn't Michael. He's Fredo. Chapek's Fredo. I mean, come on. We all know it. He's Fredo. He's not Michael. And so
when does his contract end again? In 11 months, you said?
11 months, February 2020.
When does that Star Wars hotel open up?
I think it might be open now.
Yeah, it's open.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I think
well,
it's
Chapek, you've done a fine job. Other than the Pixar, Black Widow, I'll forgive that. You're doing a great job.
Doing a great job. Chris, you're seeing this whole situation. What do you think?
I mean, we aren't really talking about how they could keep him, because contracts go one of two ways. They get renewed or they don't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we obviously need to have a big turnaround here, but what happens if they renew his contract? What if they do give him that full amount of time to really see how he uses his power? And, he just keeps making worse decisions, not even bad decisions, just worse decisions. Because regardless of your political stances, it's really easy to take a stand on something after something passes.
Right.
There
Yes.
is no
Yes.
honor in that whatsoever. And if you stand for nothing, what are you going to fall for? What are you all looking for, though, aside from these strong leadership qualities, right? And aside from being named Bob, obviously, like who is the next CEO? Do we need to thaw out Walt's head? Like, what do you need for Disney?
Jason Kilar.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's kidding.
But is there anyone that you have like waiting in the wings in the back of your minds, though, who you're like, this person would be great in this role?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I'm not inside Disney's structure there, but I would be curious to see who, when they were putting together the succession plan for Iger, who was the name after Chapek, and what was the name after that, and what was the name after that. I mean, probably whoever they pick next, hopefully will be somebody we've never heard of, because they're not in the press. They're just brilliant and smart and can lead, but I don't know.
I want another creative. I
Yeah.
want another creative guy in there. Somebody who's gone through the whole process of being at Disney. I was a Disney college kid. Like, I did their program and everything. And that's the whole purpose of the college program. It's much like the Page programs. You go through the entire system, basically. You learn the ins and outs of this company. You learn about how Walt walked 15 feet to see when people would drop their trash, so you knew exactly how far to space out trash cans. You go through all the same training, regardless of whether you're a CEO or you're schlepping popcorn. And I think that's something that's missing right now is somebody who's kind of gone through the ranks?
I could see this. By the way, I'm pulling this one out of my behind, my tuchus, as we say. Toby Emmerich from Warner Brothers, who is, David Zaslav is the man. Toby Emmerich has worked his way up in the industry. He's produced over 100 movies. He's written films. He was at Warner Brothers. I think that I could see him, like Alan Horn before him, moving over to Disney. I don't know if he could take the Bob Chapek role.
See, that's the thing. You just brought up the name. I see some people say, Kevin Feige over there. Okay, great. You're naming people who would be good to replace Alan Horn. Emmerich knows nothing about running theme parks.
That's true.
Kevin Feige knows nothing about running a global business or theme parks or cruise lines or whatever, right? That's why I'm like, I hope it's somebody we've never heard of. Like, I want somebody who's like, who come in who maybe not be a creative themselves, but has a lofty respect for creatives.
Yeah, but what if they bring in like somebody from Coca-Cola?
What's fine.
Somebody from some, but I think
that's fine because like the CEO of AMC Theaters when I was there, okay, Jerry Lopez, he was a CEO and he guided AMC through its greatest era of success. He didn't come from a theater background. He was just brilliant business.
Right.
And he was a brilliant leader who understood business. And so he was able to come in from an entirely different industry, have the right people around him, and guided AMC to great success. And I think that's why I don't know that it has to be somebody from a studio system or whatever. You need a great visionary leader who understands the operational of a large global wide organization and knows how to inspire people to create a vision, get people behind the vision. These are all skills that, while maybe very intelligent, Bob Chapek doesn't seem to possess. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the room, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. What happens in February 2023? Question is for you guys. What do you think about this whole thing? Now, the Disney executive retreat had to be canceled because they got to run around and put out fires. Do you think this is a ticking clock down to February 2023? Or do you think they're just going to renew them again come 2023? What do you guys think is going to happen? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to thank the sponsor of today's video, MeUndies. What's something you look forward to waking up to every morning? Is it coffee, your pet? Maybe it's the face of someone you love. Well, MeUndies wants to add to that list. Start your mornings with your favorite underwear. And not just any underwear, but ridiculously soft undies with ridiculous prints that make picking out underwear actually fun. Because MeUndies makes the softest fabrics you've ever put on your body. So you can sit on your couch all day or go out and live your comfiest life. Once you try their undies, socks, bralettes, and longwear, you will never go back. Choose from a range of limited edition prints and colors and sizes that go from extra small all the way up to 4XL. You can also sign up for their free to join MeUndies membership where you get a monthly subscription that sends new styles right to your door. Plus, enjoy discounted pricing, free shipping, and exclusive early access to new launches. And listen, MeUndies has a great offer for my listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping. MeUndies also gives you this promise. If you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, you can return your order for a full refund within 45 days. To get your 15% off your first order and free shipping, just go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea.